Hey, greetings folks. Happy New Year's. And it is New Year's Day around 5:30. I just wanted to wish you all Happy New Year's. And I thought I'd do a vlog while we're at it. Usually I change my central vacuum bag on New Year's. However, I had to change it like maybe a month or two ago, so no update with that. That's also, I think, kind of fairly boring, is I produce about the same amount of dust and debris every year. So you've all seen that before. So I'll make a vlog when that comes, but it's just not that exciting anymore. What is exciting is what I have here, at least to me. So let's talk about what this is. If you notice, this is not my traditional blue hose that was right once here. I have upgraded this to a chameleon, and I did film it. I did make a video on that. It's going to require a lot of editing, so that will come out when that comes out. But I have a chameleon valve now and a chameleon hose. And excuse the dust on here, I've been vacuuming. But the chameleon hose works a lot different than the hose. The hose grips the hose and squeezes it with a bladder to make the seal. The chameleon, if you can see here, there's a gasket and a locking thing. A chameleon actually locks like that with a cam system in there. I think it makes a better seal at the valve. However, all of that's kind of lost because the inside of the hose is slightly narrow in terms of its diameter, so it loses a little bit more airflow. So more sealed suction, less airflow, and in this case, maybe less cleaning capability, which is something I was not expecting when I did this. And I've kind of talked and messaged to some people in the industry, and they're like, yeah, you know, get a more powerful central vacuum. Well, I'm not opposed to that. You know, my central vacuum has been expanded many times since I put it in. I have like 4 additional outlets in my shop in the interceptor, and it is really maxed out at this point in terms of how many valves it has on it. So originally it has 7 valves, now it has like 11 valves, I think. Anyway, so I've got a lot more, and that interceptor really creates a lot of negative air pressure that it has to constantly create. So that's one thing about doing this. So meanwhile, this hose, it's got a lot of features on it. It's got a swivel, and it has a much better handle, which I've already been using. This handle, you notice it looks like a regular electro valve handle, and I like that. There's no switch on it, though that's coming. There's going to be a RF switch that does not require batteries. That's going to be very interesting when that comes out on the market. This has a suction relief valve on it, which my hose handle did not have. And the hose handle, the swivel was on here on this generation. They later would remove this. So this is kind of a cool piece of, to its era tech that I'm probably just going to save and preserve, or maybe I'll put a hose somewhere else in my house. I've been toying with the idea of putting one in my master bathroom, like a small 20-foot or 30-foot hose, and I could definitely recycle the valve and do that. Again, the problem is I think my system is kind of stressed. I think I need a bigger unit, or what I believe I will do in my current installation is when I take out on a service call another unit that's smaller, or I see a unit on sale from a manufacturer, I think what I'm going to do is that the shop will have its own unit and the house will have its own unit, and that will restore kind of the balance of when the unit was put in. So I think that's what we're going to end up doing in the future. So that's kind of what's going on there. And I've got this guy here because I just wanted to talk about it. This really changes everything. This battery operated handle, and I know you've all have seen this before, but it really did change everything. So between this retractable hose system and this battery operated nozzle, this brings central vacuums kind of into the modern era, and it makes people kind of want them more. So I think it's really good stuff. The other thing that's kind of cool about the chameleon valve, let me pull it off, is there's a separate seal here in the door, so I can seal it up with the door open, and then I can go plug this in another outlet. And I think that's kind of a cool feature. Unfortunately,
I want you all to be able to see what's
the way
going
I had
on
to
here.
get that valve in is I had to go up from the crawl space here, disconnect this pipe I'm shaking, and install it. So it was a real hassle, and it made a job that should have been, an hour, like a 2.5 hour job. I ended up also having to pull out some of the insulation to get everything to fit. As you can see, the location of where I installed it, which is centrally located in my house, shares the main drain line also for my house and that stud. The stud next to it is not a full stud, and the stud also next to it is a solid structural thing. And as you can see, that then goes up to a steel I-beam. And then this section over here is not even going to that wall. So it was really hard actually to install it there with what I had going on. And then you can see the rest of the pipe and my messy wiring. While we're down here, I thought I'd just mention I keep my air compressor in my crawl space. So when it goes off, it's really quiet. You can barely hear it. And it's just kind of nice not to have to hear this. Though these California Air Tool air compressors are super quiet. I'd highly recommend them. Right now they are being price gouged a little bit with the whole supply and demand thing. All right, I'm done vacuuming the house. So let's go ahead and retract it. And something I do before I retract my Haida hose, as I've always thrown, let me put it in frame here, a used dryer sheet in here, and I'm just going to continue to do that. And it's tangled up. So what happens is when these hoses are, fresh out of the box, they have the memory of being in the box. And it takes them usually about a month before that memory goes away and it starts memorizing what's, in the wall. So that's my chameleon valve. Well, stay warm, folks. We got about 5-6 inches of snow here in Denver, and it's the temperatures are in the teen. So stay warm. Thanks for watching, and have a great rest of your new year.